Dragon Source here. Sexiest man alive. Alien Slayer, Demon Slayer. Superhero. And we're live on New Earth. Let's go. I got a question for you. What are we learning? What are we learning here? The whole New Age community, well, most of them anyway, their whole thing is we're sent to Earth with some kind of divine mission to learn some lessons, to clear some karma so we can ascend, right? That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. We were put here by some loving, benevolent creator that said, I'm going to put you through all these trials, tribulations, rings of fire. I'm going to make you jump through a whole bunch of hoops like a circus animal pet just for you to get a little bag so that you can not starve to death. That's a lesson right there, right? You learn how to psychologically manipulate people to make sales or to get a certain job to pay you money, right? That's a lesson, right? Let's see. You learned how to become a better liar to hide certain frailties or flaws in your personality so that you can hook someone into a relationship with, so that way you could better sustain your emotional structure to fill the void inside yourself, which shouldn't even be there. But we live in a land of darkness where we've been detached from our spirits. So, assuming you have one, but so that's a whole nother video. What else have we learned here? We learned fighting styles, right? You know, some people are into boxing, some people are into wrestling, right? You know, if you've got to fight over egos or material resources, boom. We learned how to fight in the art of business. You know, when you go to work, you know, we learned how to take each other's money. What else have we learned? What else have we learned? We learned how to make smartphones. Computers, cars. Great. We learned how to make technology so we can get from point A to B faster. To do what exactly? Fight for attention? Fight for money? What are we actually learning here? What are we actually learning here? What are we learning? Have you ever learned a lesson in your life that really made you a better person? Maybe you did, but it was only after doing something very morally wrong, most likely, and you got burned for it, right? So you had to suffer to become a better person. And then what happens when that new better person isn't getting their way anymore? What happens when you're trying to apply the lesson you learned, you're doing the right thing in life, you're taking the right-hand path, and shit is still not going your way? Putting up brick, getting attacks from left and right. Then what? Then what are you going to do? You're going to just take it in the chest, or you're going to allow someone to just go ahead and metaphorically stab you in the back? Because it's the right thing to do? No, you have to become a killer at that point. The reality demands you to become a killer. We have to eat food every day. The whole reality is set up for us to all compete for energy and resources and kill each other for it, metaphorically or literally, you know, in the case of killing animals or plants, or just killing someone slightly faster by adding stress to their life by using business tactics on them. What are we learning here? What are we learning here? All we did was learn how to better survive in a realm of darkness, which just further corrupted us with more darkness. What was the point? What was the point? Was there a point? Was there ever a point? I just want to fly, roll roll me up a joint. Hey. No. There is no point to suffering. Zero. None. The source, by definition, is incapable of ill will or wishing harm on anything. True light would not design a reality where it's even possible to suffer. It wouldn't do that. I don't know what would make you think it would. We're being tortured every day with no silver lining to it. I guess you could say, hey, if you ever make it back to the true light, I guess you could say, hey, I know what it's like to really suffer. But is that a good thing? Like, what are you getting from that? Like, I learned all these lessons about how we shouldn't F each other over and we should be good people. Well, great. Everyone here is already a good person. It's true light. Oh, yeah. So what was the point of me falling and experiencing all that suffering? There wasn't one. Hey, there wasn't one. And anyone who tells you there is a point to suffering is either a liar or, more likely, just lost in the New Age movement, or they're just trying to justify the suffering in their lives with stories they invent themselves or borrow from other so-called spiritual gurus. Because people have to have a justification for their suffering to justify their existence. If you couldn't justify being in prison for your whole life, if you knew for a fact God literally came to you in a dream and was like, yeah, gee, there's absolutely zero reason for you to be in there right now. You're not learning anything. You're just suffering. And you had a gun right in the prison cell to blow your brains out. Would you do it? Would you do it? Exactly. So people don't actually have the guts to do that. So they have to lie to themselves to invent reasons for their suffering, to justify it. They have to create a silver lining where there is none. Otherwise, how would you have the fuel to go on? Every industry, vacation industry, travel over here, you'll be happy. Buy this car, you'll be happy. Buy that diamond ring for your woman so that you can secure her love. You'll be happy. Everybody is trying to sell you happiness. Disney, what's their whole thing? Selling memories and happiness. And, oh, look, I danced with Donald Duck at Disneyland or whatever. Like, everyone's trying to sell you happiness because we don't really have it here, at least not after you grow up. It's rare. It's rare in adults to be genuinely happy. But not for kids, which should tell you something. The longer you're in this reality, the more it corrupts you. Old people, on average, not saying always, but on average, after their lifetime of suffering, are they more senile or are they usually more lighthearted and optimistic? Which one tends to happen? Right. Are kids generally more lighthearted and optimistic? Or are kids more senile? Which one tends to happen? Right? So after a lifetime of suffering, what are we gaining from this? Ask yourself. Peace.